last night. Tonight, obviously, you're making big news in boxing. The announcement was finally made. What can you tell us? I'm just curious, like, what you see your ultimate position as, right? Like, the UFC right now is the dominant brand in mixed martial arts. Do you see being able to be the dominant brand in boxing, or is it more like we're a player in boxing along with the other entities out there?
It's a good question. I would say yes, that Sheik Turki and Saudi are the dominant players in boxing right now. And basically, I'm going to run and manage the business for them. This is not an easy business to be in. I mean, you guys have seen over the many years that I've been doing this, a lot of people have tried to get into this sport and into the fight business. The fight business is looks like a very fun business to be in until you actually start spending some money and getting in here and doing it. And I think that the Sheik Turki and his crew found out quick that it's a lot tougher than it seems, and came to me and wanted to work out a deal where we run the business.
When do you teach him the, have we made that announcement yet? If we do, you'll know when we're ready. He seems to be leaping ahead and kind of revealing all of your news before you're ready.
Yeah, listen, I'm trying to get him to pump the brakes a little bit, and we don't just lay it all out there, this whole press tour that we did on Monday was to announce the deal. But I'll tell you what's fascinating about him. He's a visionary when it comes to the sport, and he wants to do a lot of like one-of-one type events. And like the Sphere, one-of-one type events are very expensive. So we got a lot of work to do, And I didn't want to talk about a lot of the stuff that we're planning on doing because we have to build some infrastructure first and figure out, and we got to get a rights deal. We're out shopping a rights deal right now. Lot of work to do before we start announcing big things.
Last thing I want to ask you about with Power Slap, content distribution strategies are changing all the time right now, it seems. Why YouTube? Why is that where you picked to play? And do you see that as a long-term solution for Power Slap?
I don't know if it's changing. You just have, when you think about the world right now, you have all these different sports, not just in the United States, but all over the world, battling for content rights. And if you look at combat sports, even Sheik Turki, with the money that he has and the money that they've been spending in the sport of boxing, they don't have a big rights deal either. So sometimes you got to get creative. And as far as I'm concerned, it's more about eyeballs, and obviously money's important. You got to have money to keep the thing rolling. But YouTube's incredible. 2.5 billion potential viewers every time you do something, and we were talking to a lot of different people. Linear television, we came from Rumble. Rumble ended up being like our Spike TV to launch it, and they were really good to us. And this just seemed like the right move at the right time. What I don't like is once we start talking about doing deals, people start telling you what you can and can't do, what you can and can't advertise. The list goes on and on. And I like to run my own production, run my own show. And no better place to do that than YouTube.
Going back to is it TKO Boxing? Is that the official name?
Well, that's the sort of, we're putting a pin on that one right now. But yeah, I mean that's what I like and want, but we'll see.
When you talk about the business of boxing, one of the biggest issues in it is that the guys who are in boxing can't get on and they never do deals, and it took Turkey to come along with money to basically make them work together, right? So in that respect, when you've come on to do this for Turkey, do you almost have to cut out these other guys because they're just going to make your job harder, right? If you're having to negotiate with every promoter in the sun, do you have to come out and eventually just get rid of these guys, lock them in Alcatraz, like Turkey said, and just do it yourself?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm more focused on, if you think about the UFC when we bought the company, we had 3 letters, the old octagon, and 12 contracts. We had to build the thing from the ground up. I think that the sport of boxing is so broken it needs to be built from the ground up again. And that's what I'm going to focus on doing. He's got some commitments over the next 18 months with a lot of guys and a lot of fights and a lot of different promoters, but I talk a lot about USA's Tuesday Night Fights. You know, they put on like the best up and coming fighters all fought on that show and then became big pay-per-view stars. It's the same thing that happened with the UFC. You know, we started on Spike TV, we built stars, and they became pay-per-view stars. I want to do the same thing with boxing.
So is there a world where you're on stage with De La Hoya and Bob Arum one day, all playing nice?
I mean, let's hope not. I would never say never, but that is not what I plan to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We